Welcome to Fame Academy. Today we are going to learn totient function, which is also called as Euler's phi function. Euler introduced this function in 15 October 1759 paper titled Demonstration of New Method in Arithmetics, in Theory of Arithmetics. Title was in some other language, Theoremata Arithmetica Novo Methodo Demonstrata, such was the title, and it is presented to Petersburg Academy in 1759 AD. And Euler given generalized version of Euler-Fermat theorem. Fermat's little theorem. Before that, Fermat was published little theorem, and according to Fermat's little theorem, if highest common factor between two numbers, say a and n, or a and n is 1, highest common factor between two number a and prime number p is 1, then a raised to p minus 1 equal to 1 mod p. This was the Fermat's little theorem. This is the Fermat's little theorem, and Euler given general version of this by using totient function. So what he did, he taken any general number and defined if GCD of an is 1, two number a and n is 1, then a raised to phi of n equals to 1 modulo n, friends. That means remainder of a raised to phi of n is remainder of a raised to phi of n divided by n is 1. This was the theorem, friends. And what is meant by phi of n, friends? So here phi of n indicates indicates the number that are co-prime to n, or number that do not share any prime factor to n and that are less than n. So number less than n that do not share any prime factor with n. So total number of such numbers, phi of n, count total number of such numbers. Example, friends, phi of 3. Now number that do not share any prime factor with 3 and less than 3 are nothing but, friends, 1, 2. So 1 and 2, there are two numbers, so phi of 3 equal to 2. Similarly, phi of 2, let us take 5. So how many numbers are there that are co-prime to 5? Co-prime means number that do not share any prime factor with 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of these numbers, 1 and 5, there is no prime factor. 2 and 5, there is also no prime factor. 3 and 5, no. 4 and 5, no. So 4 and 5 are relatively prime to each other, and 5 and 5 that shares factors. So there are 4. In general, if p is the prime number, friends, like 7, 11, 13, then if we list number from 1, 2, 3 to that number, say up to 11, then out of these, except last number, all these number do not share any prime factor with 11. That is, there is no common factor between these number and these number other than 1. So they are relatively prime to each other, friends. Now take example. So relatively prime to each other. So out of 1, 2, 3, so on up to 11, there are 10 number which are relatively prime to 11. So phi of 11 equal to 10. Similarly, for any other prime numbers like phi of 13, the number of relatively prime number less than or equal to 13 are nothing but 1 less than 13, that is 12, friends. So our first result is phi of p is nothing but p minus 1. Phi of p means number of co-prime, number of total number that are co-prime to p, that is, they do not share any prime factor with p and that are less than p. So relatively prime numbers up to p, prime number up to p, total number of relatively prime number up to p. So phi of p means total number of relatively prime number up to p to the p. Now according to Fermat's theorem, friends, what it says, if GCD of A and n is 1, that is highest common factor or greatest common divisor, highest common factor or greatest common divisor between A and n is 1, then a raised to phi of n equals to 1 modulo n. Example, friends, 3. If 3 is the number hour, let us take a equal to 2. So 2 raised to phi of n, phi of 3 equal to what? That is total number that are relatively prime to 3 and less than 3. So 1 and 2 are such numbers, so total 2 numbers are there. So phi of 3 is nothing but 2. So 2 raised to 2. 2 raised to 2 is nothing but 4, friends. So placing 2 raised to 2 is 4. Now if we divide 4 by mod n, here n is 3. So 4 by 3 divided gives quotient 1 and remainder as 1. And thus here a raised to phi n equals to 1 is valued, friends. Thus we verified this theorem. Similarly, friends, this phi function is very useful in RSA algorithm, Rivest, Shamir, Adelman, Rivest, Shamir and Adleman, Ron Rivest, Adi Shamir and Leonard Adleman published this algorithm in and it is used in banking, e-commerce website or Visa card, Mastercard for secure transaction, friends. And there are 2 users thousands miles away from each other and they would like to contact each other securely, or they would like to do some transaction such as through banks or through e-commerce site, then that information is very sensitive and it should not be easily accessible to any other person through network. So how to protect that? So in order to protect, RSA algorithm use public key and private key. RSA algorithm gives a way, and it is asymmetric crypto asymmetrical algorithm, and it have two keys, public key as well as private key, friends. And by using public key is given to sender, and that sender, what will do sender? If this is the message he has to send, then it will encrypt, or this is plain text, it will do cipher with help of, means encrypt with help of public key. And public key is nothing but given by receiver, and it is nothing but number n and e. So this forms the public key, and then the cipher text is transferred through network, and at receiver get this cipher text. Receiver what will do? The cipher text is decrypted by receiver with help of private key. And private key are nothing but n comma d. That is the same number shared with this n, and d is nothing but this is inverse of e, modulo inverse of e with respect to phi of n. So friends, if this is the message, then what will do? Sender will encrypt this message by raising it to the power n and taking mod n. Message is converted into integer, and this integer is raised to power n, and mod n is taken, and then this is sent through network. And at receiver end, what is receiver will do? Raise this cipher message to the power d and take mod n. Now since e and d are inverse of each other, modulo phi, so mod phi n with respect to mod phi n. So friends, this is nothing but mod phi n. That means it is product ed is just greater than multiple of phi n, friends. So here if we put m raised to ed as the multiple of phi n plus 1, then we get m raised to k into phi n into m raised to 1 and mod n. At the receiver will do this operation. Now we know that m raised to phi m, GCD of m n is generally, friends, 1. So m raised to phi n is nothing but 1, and raised to k power is also 1. So this becomes 1, and this we get original message. In this manner RSA algorithm is used, and in that RSA algorithm phi of n, that is totient function is used. Totient function is used, and by using this totient function, private key is calculated. So n is two big prime number are taken, and these are multiplied together and we get n, and any number e which is relatively prime to phi of n is taken, friends, and these are given to sender as the public key, and private key is calculated as E inverse modulo phi of n. So what is meant by inverse? So inverse, calculating inverse with respect to some number is nothing but, say d is the inverse, then calculating such number such that product of this when divided by this number gives remainder 1. So that means ED modulo ED must be 1 modulo phi n, and such the number that satisfies this equation is nothing but inverse of E. Example, friends, inverse of 3 with respect to modulo 7. Now we like to calculate inverse of 3 with respect to modulo 7. Means we have to find such number so that such number n, so that when we divide this number by 7 we get remainder 1. That means 3n is 1 modulo 7. So what is the number? 3 into 2 is 6, 3 into 4, 3 into 5. If we do 3 into 5 we get 15, and when we divide 15 by 7 then we get remainder as 1, friends, because 15 by 7 equal to quotient 2 and remainder 1. So n must be 5, friends. So 3 and 5 are inverse of each other with respect to modulo 7. Okay, now we move to illustration function, friends. If say 3, 6 and 10. Now according to laws of fundamental law of arithmetic, any number can be written as either a prime number or product of prime number. Now here 6 can be written as product of two prime number, 2 into 3. Similarly, and these are called as factor, and this is called as multiple of each factor, friends. Multiple of 2 as well as multiple of 3, and this is the product, and this is 2 and 3 are the factor of 6. Similarly, friend, 10 can be written as 2 into 5. Now between these two number 2 and 2 means there is one common factor, friends, just 2. So we say GCD greatest common factor between of 6 and 10 is nothing but product of all such common factors, friends. So just there is one common factor, so 2. Now what about 2 into 3 into 5 and 3 into 2 into 7? Now all are prime numbers, friends, first. Now there is two common factor. So what is the GCD, friends? Here GCD is nothing but 2 into 3, friends. So this 2 and this 3. Now what is GCD between this? 2 raised to 4 into 3 raised to 5 into 6 raised to 7 and 2 raised to 2 into 8 raised 30 raised to 5 into, instead of 6 take 5 here, prime factor, into 4 raised to 8 friends. Now before first what we do, 4 is not a prime number, so 4 can be written as 2 into 2, and raised to 4 raised to 8 means 2 into 2 raised to 8 means 2 square raised to 8 means 2 raised to 16. So this is nothing but 2 raised to 16. So 2 raised to 16 into 2 raised to 2, according to law of indices, when base is the same, indices will add it together. So 2 raised to 16 into 2 raised to 2 becomes, friends, 2 raised to 18. Now what is the common factor between this? Now 2 raised to 4 means 2 into 2 into 2 4 times, and 2 raised to 18 means 2 into 2 into 2 so on 18 times. That means out of 2 raised to 18 and 2 raised to 4, common factor is 2 raised to 4. Now 3 raised to 5 and 13 raised to 5, no. 5 raised to 7 and 13 raised to 5, no. So 2 raised to 4 is the common factor, friends. Now what if 2 into 3 is multiple of 2, friends, and another is number also multiple of 2? What if we add them together, friends? What if we add them together? Then we can take 2 common, 2 into 3 plus 2 into 5. We have to add them together. Can we take 2 common? Yes, we can take 2 common, and 3 into 5. In this manner, if both number have common factor, then their sum also have that common factor. If both numbers have common factor, then their difference also have common factor, friends. So, and if numbers have common factor other than 1, any common prime factor, then their sum other than 1, their then greatest common factor, common divisor or highest common factor between them is obviously greater than 1, and that means they share the common factor, so GCD of such number is not going to be 1. Not going to be 1. So they are not relatively prime to each other, friends. This concept is important. Now let us understand one more concept, friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now how many numbers are there that are multiple of 2, friends? So out of this, here 5, if we divide 5 by 2, we get approximately quotient as 2, friends. So 2, and leaves remainder as 1. So we can write 2 into 2 plus 1. It has. Now we have to count number of multiple of 2, total number of multiple of 2 up to 5. So that means number divisible by 2. So how to count? 2 means 2 into 1, and the next multiple comes 2 into 2, and then 2 into 3, but 2 into 3 is greater than this. So up to this point we get these 2 multiple, friends, that is 4 and 2. And how many are there multiple? This 1 and this 2. So friends, just we can divide by 2 and say total number of multiple of 2 that share at least multiple of 2 that share 2 or more than 2 factors, friends, that share 2, at least 2 as the factor is nothing but, friends, 2. Similarly 1, 2, 3, 4, so on up to 100. So how many factors of 5 are there? So how many numbers are there up to 100 that share at least that have factor 5? That means we have to count total number of multiple of 5. So just what we do, here comes first multiple 5 into 1 something, and this is nothing but friends 5 into 20. So 5 into 1, 5 into 2, 5 into 3, so on up to 5 into 20. Means how many multiple are there? 20 multiple are there, and we can get it by simply dividing 100 by 5. So when we divide 100 by 5, then we get division as 20. And if we and up to 99 by 5, we get division as 19 point something. So just take integer part 19, and in this manner we can calculate multiple of given number up to specific numbers, friends. Now let us move to the Totient function. So our first result phi of p, that is if any prime number is given, then total numbers relatively prime to p that are less than or equal to p are nothing but friends p minus 1, because if we list 1, 2, 3, 4 so on up to p, then except last number p, all other number do not share any factor with p, any prime factor with p. So GCD of p and this number are always 1. So these are the p minus 1 co-prime numbers are there. So this. Now let us observe one interesting fact, friends. Phi of n, phi of n, phi of 10. Total number of co-prime numbers to the 10 up to 10. So let us list 10 numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, friends. Now out of these numbers, 10 have factor 2 into 5, friends. This 2 into 5. 2 and 5 are the factors of 10. So out of these, what number will share at least one factor with 10? The number that have factor either 2 or factor either 5. So here 2 and all multiple of 2 share factors. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So 2, 4, 6, 8. These numbers, GCD of these numbers with 10 is definitely not going to be 1. So they are not relatively prime, because they share at least one prime factor, that is 2, friends. Similarly, multiple of 5, all multiple of 5, 1, 2. So these also share at least one prime factor to 10, that is they share 5 as the factor. So they are also not co-prime to 10. Now there are remaining 4 numbers, friend. 1, 2, 3 and 4, that is 1, 7, 9. Now friends, this share 2 as the factor. That means we can write 2 as 2 into 1. Now what if we add 10 to it? Then we get, friends, 2 is 2 into 1. Adding 10 into it means 10 can be written as 2 into 5. So we get number 12, and 12 can be written as 2 into 1 plus 5. That means 10 also have factor 2 and this 2 also have factor 2. So when we add 10 to 2, then we get the number 12 and it will also have factor 2. So GCD of these and 10 are not going to be 1. So similarly 4 plus 10. 4 plus 10. 4 shares 2 as the factor with 10. Similarly 10, when we add 10, then we get 14 and 40 also share the 2 as the factor with 10. Similarly friends, all these numbers when we add 10 to it, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Consider this. And when these 2, 4, 6, 8 and also friends 5. Now when we add 10 to it, 2 shares factor 2 with 10 friends. That means 10 and 2 have common factor 2 friends. So when we add 10 to it, then we can take 2 common factor out of the bracket, that is 2 into 1 plus 10 can be written as 2 into 5. So 2 can be taken out of the bracket and we can write 2 into 6. So 2 is still going to be common factor, still going to be factor of this resulting number 12. So GCD of this 12 and 10 is not going to be 1 because it both numbers have 2 as the factor. Similarly friends, 4 adding 10 we get 14 and adding 6 again 10 we get 16, adding 10 we get 15. Now 55 and 10 have common factor 5. So when we add them together we get 15 and that also have common factor 5. So GCD of these number are definitely not going to be 1. Similar pattern follows friends. That means 0 to 10 there are friends just 4 numbers are there that are relatively prime to 10, 7 and 9 and all other are non-co-prime. And when we add 10 to it, then we get adding 10 to this relatively prime number, we get again relatively prime numbers friend, because one do not share any prime factor with 10 but 10 shares, and when we add 10 then we get relatively prime number to the again relatively prime to 10. So 11. So number that are relatively prime, when we add multiple of this 10 then we get relatively primes. So there are 4 relatively prime between 0 to 10. So resulting number between 10 to 20 that are prime relatively prime to 10 is also going to be 4. And there are other remaining numbers are non-co-prime. So when we add 10 to it, then we also get corresponding number as non-co-prime between 10 to 20 friends. In this manner, friend, we can conclude that 0 to 10 we have 4 co-prime number, 4 relatively prime to the 10, that is 1, 3, 7 and 9. These are 4 relatively prime, and 10 to 20, just if we add 10 to 8 every number, then we get 11, 13, 17 and 19. These 4 numbers as co-prime numbers friends. Similarly 30, 20 to 30, again we get, if we add 10 then again we get 21, 23, 27 and 29 as 4 co-prime number. That means friend, phi of 0 to 10 is 4. That is friends, number of co-prime numbers to the 10 between this range are 4. Similarly then phi of 10 to 10, 20, next interval is also going to be 4, and phi of 20 to 30 is also going to be same for phi of 10, that is 4 friends. In general we can write phi of n means number of co-prime numbers between friends 0 to n, number of co-prime or relatively prime to the n between 0 to n equal to phi of n to 2n equal to phi of 2n to 3n, so on. In general we can write phi of k into n to k plus 1 into n, where k is integer, is nothing but phi of n. Or take this as phi of n. Phi of n is also equal to this, friends. Now friends, take prime numbers such as 2 raised to 7. Now how many relatively prime number to the 2 raised to 7 which are less than or equal to 2 raised to 7 are there? Now friend, if we list number 1, 2, 3 so on up to 2 raised to 7, total number are 2 raised to 7. Now out of these numbers, how many numbers shares at least one prime factor with this number? 2 raised to 7 have just 2 as the prime factor, 2 multiplied with 7 times. So how many number have at least 2 as the prime factor, friends? That means how many numbers are multiple of 2? So that are nothing but friend 2 raised to 7 divided by 2. So 2 raised to 7 divided by 2, and this is nothing but friends 2 raised to 7 minus 1. 7 minus 1. Similarly friends, phi of, thus what we obtain, phi of 2 raised to 7 equal to 2 raised to 7 minus 2 raised to 7 divided by 2, means 2 raised to 7 minus 1. Similarly friends, phi of 3 raised to 6, total numbers are there 3 raised to 6. Out of this, the number that shares at least one factor, that is 3 raised to 6 has 3 into 3 into 3 6 times. So how many numbers have at least 1 times 3? How many multiple of 3? So we have to count total number of multiple, and that we have to omit that because that are not co-prime. So the number that are multiple of 3, take example 3 friends, 3 and 3 6 have 3 as the factor, common factor. Similarly 9 and 3 raised to 6 have also 3 raised to 2, that is 3 into 3 as the common factor. That means at least 3 is common factor. So friends, we have to exclude all such number because 3 raised to 6 and 9, the GCD of these are not going to be 1. Similarly 3 and 3 raised to 6, 3 and 6, 3 and 9, 3 and 12, so on. GCD of all these number are not going to be 1. So we have to exclude such all multiple of 3 from total number of 3, total number up to 3 raised to 6. So that are nothing but 3 raised to 6 divided by 3, and this is nothing but 3 raised to 6 minus 3 raised to 5. In general, we can say if p is the prime number, friends, p is the prime number and it is raised to k, then phi of p raised to k is nothing but p raised to k minus p raised to k minus 1. We can take p raised to k minus 1, p raised to k out of the bracket, and 1 minus 1 by 1 minus p, 1 minus 1 divided by p. So p raised to k into 1 minus 1 divided by p. This is the result. Now we are going to take one more. Now up to this point, phi of p equal to p minus 1 if p is the prime number. This is the first result. Second result is our friends phi of n equal to phi of kn to k n plus 1 is also going to be equal. And third result is phi of for prime p raised to k is nothing but friend phi of p raised to k into 1 minus 1 by p, friends. Now we are going to learn one more important result. Now how many primes numbers, how many relatively prime numbers to the 3 into 5 less than or equal to 8, less than or equal to 15. So 3 and 5 are here co-prime to each other, co-prime or relatively prime, that do not share any common factor other than 1, friends. So if we list 15 number 1, 2, 3 so on up to 15 number, friends. So out of these numbers, if number 3 into 5 has 3 and 5 as the factor, and out of this number, the number that shares factor as 3, number that have factor as 3 is not going to be relative prime to 3 into 5, because if any number have 3 as the factor, then common factor between that number and 3 into 5, that is 15, is also going to be is not going to be 1. So that is not going to be relatively prime. So how many numbers are there, friends? So 3 into 1, 3 into 2, so on up to 3 into 5. There are, this is the last number, there are 5 numbers are there that are not co-prime. Similarly, how many numbers are there that are multiple of the second factor, friend, 5? So 5 into 1, 5 into 2, so on, 5 into 3, friends, and 5 into 3 is last number. So there are 3 numbers, friends. But in this counting, we counted this 50 twice, friends. We counted this 50 twice. So we have to subtract 1. So 5 plus 3, 8, minus 1, 7. So there are 7 number that are not relatively prime to 15 up to less than or equal to up to 15. So out of 15 numbers, 15 divided by 3, 15 divided by 5 plus 1, or we can say these are the number not relatively prime to 15. There are 15 numbers. Out of these 15 number, these are not relatively prime to 15. So 15 minus 5 minus 3 minus minus plus 1. So friends, 15 minus 5 is 10. 15 minus 7 is 8. In this manner. Now what if P and Q are prime numbers, friends, and we take multiple? So phi of P into Q, we like to calculate phi of P into Q. So up to 1, 2, 3, so on up to PQ. There are PQ numbers, friends. One, two, three, so on up to PQ. There are PQ numbers. Out of these numbers, friends, all the multiple of numbers that are multiple of P are not going to relatively prime to PQ because they share P as the prime factor. Because PQ and that number have P as the prime factor. So how many numbers are there which are multiple of P? So that are nothing but PQ divided by P, and that are the Q numbers, and that Q numbers are nothing but P, 2P, 3P, so on up to PQ. Similarly, how many numbers are there that are multiple of Q, and that are nothing but PQ divided by Q, and it results as P numbers, and that are nothing but Q, 2Q, so on up to PQ. In this counting, we counted PQ twice, friends. So how many numbers are there up to PQ that are not co-prime to PQ? So this Q plus this P plus Q. In this counting, PQ is counted twice, so we have to subtract 1. So these many numbers are non-co-prime to PQ. So numbers that are co-prime to PQ are nothing but total number PQ minus this many numbers. So we get total PQ numbers are there out of this multiple of QP. There are multiple of Q. How many numbers are multiple of Q? P. And how many numbers are multiple of P? Q. And in this counting, we counted PQ twice. So we have to twice here subtract it. So we have to compensate by adding 1. Now if we PQ minus P minus Q plus 1. So PQ minus P minus Q plus 1. Let us take P common. Q minus 1. And let us take minus 1 common. And this comes Q minus 1. Now Q minus 1, Q minus 1. Taking common out of the bracket, we get P minus 1. And thus P minus 1 into Q minus 1. Thus friend, if P and Q are relatively prime to each other, then phi of PQ is nothing but, friends, P minus 1 into Q minus 1. and p minus 1 is nothing but phi of p, friends, and q minus 1 is nothing but phi of q. For p and q, if p and q are, friends, prime numbers, and in general this property holds true if a and b are co-prime to each other, then this property holds true. Phi of ab equal to phi of a into phi of b. Now let us derive Euler's phi function with the help of this result. Now say any number n whose prime factorization are p1 k1 into p2 k2 so on up to pm km. Now friends, these do not share. Now what is the common prime factor between these? There is no common prime factor between p1 raised to k1 and p2 raised to k2. Similarly, all these are individually. If we take p1 k raised to k1, p2 k raised to k2, so on pm km, these m numbers are co-prime to each other because p1 raised to k1 and p2 raised to k2 do not have any common prime factor. Similarly, p1 raised to k1 and pm raised to km so on do not have any co-prime factor because p1 raised to k1 is nothing but p1 into p1 into p1 k1 times, and p2 raised to k2 means p2 into p2 into p2 so on k2 times. They have distinct prime factor and they do not share any prime factor, so they are relatively prime, and we can write phi of n according to our property. We can write phi of n as phi of p1 raised to k1 and p1 and then phi of remaining part. So friend, and similarly remaining part we can write again phi of p2 raised to k2 into phi of remaining part. Similarly again we write phi of p3 raised to k3 so on up to thus n is p1 raised to k1 into p2 raised to k2 so on pm raised to km. Then phi of n is nothing but, friends, phi of p1 raised to k1 into phi of p2 raised to k2 so on phi of pm raised to km, friends. In this manner we can write, friends. Now phi of p1 raised to k1 is what? p1 raised to k1 into 1 minus 1 by p. Similarly phi of p2 raised to k2 is what? p2 raised to k2 into 1 minus 1 over p2. Similarly, expanding in this manner, we get phi of n as, friends, p1 raised to k1 1 minus 1 by p1 into p2 raised to k2 1 minus 1 over p2 so on pm 1 minus 1 over pm. Now p1 raised to k1, p2 raised to k2 so on into pm raised to km. This can be multiplied together and this is nothing but n. So friends, phi of n is nothing but n into 1 minus 1 by P1 into 1 minus 1 by P2 into 1 minus 1 by P3 so on into 1 minus 1 by Pn. This is the Euler's, where n is nothing but P1 raised to K1 into P2 raised to K2, where K1, K2 are integers, friends, natural numbers, so on into Pm raised to Km. In this manner, this is the derivation of Euler's phi function for any number. Let us calculate and let us see some application of it. Now, what is the phi of 100, friends? What is the phi of 100? 100, first factorize 100. So first write 100 in the factor form. So 100 can be written as 2 raised to 2. 100 means 10 into 10, and 10 can be written as 2 into 5. Again 10 can be written as 2 into 5. So 2 raised to 2 into 5 raised to 2. So 100 is nothing but, friends, 2 raised to 2 into 5 raised to 2. Now this is nothing but 100. Now (100) into, now 2 and 5 are the prime factor, in the factorization of 100. So friends, we write 1 minus 1 by 2 into, and for 5 we write 1 minus 1 by 5, and in this manner we get, friend, (100) as 100 into 1 minus 1 by 2 into 1 minus 1 by 5. So that is nothing but, friends, 100 into 1 minus 1 by 2 is nothing but 1 by 2, and 1 minus 1 by 5 is nothing but 4 by 5. So 2 into 5, 10. So 10 and this get cancelled and 40 comes. So here is 40. Now friends, phi of 100 is 14. So according to Euler's phi function, in many CAT exams and different kind of exams, such kind of questions are asked. What is the last 2 digit of 3 raised to 201? Then we will use Euler-Euler's theorem. We use Euler-Fermat's theorem, that is a raised to phi n equal to 1 mod n, when where a is relatively prime to n, friends. So here we like to calculate last 2 digits of 3 raised to 201, friends. Now 3 is relatively prime to, friends, hundreds, and last 2 digit, calculating last 2 digits of number like such, last 2 digit is nothing but calculating remainder when it is divided by 100. Example, 1234 divided by 100 leaves remainder as 34, and 34 is nothing but last 2 digits. So for last 2 digit we have to calculate remainder of this number divided by 100. Now we know 3 raised to phi of 100, that is 14. When it is divided by 100, leaves remainder friends 1. So we denote it by 3 raised to 40 congruent to 1 modulo 100. 3 raised to 40. Now thus up to 3 raised to 40 is 1. So now raising fifth power, we get raising fifth power of this 3 raised to 40 into 3 raised to 40, so on 5 times. That is going to be 3 raised to 200. Now we also raise fifth power of this 1. So mod 100, that's 3 raised to 200 ends with 3 raised to 200 divided by 100 gives remainder as 1, and that means that ends with 1 friends, 0 1. So 3 raised to 200 ends with 0 1. Now when we multiply it by 3, in that way is going to be end with 0 3, and in this manner we can calculate last 1 digit, last 2 digit, so on. Thus friend, we can say that if any number a is relatively prime to 100, then that's power. And when this number is a going to be relatively prime to 100, if it is odd and it does not end with 5, that is number ending with 1 3 7 9. When it is raised to power 14, like 14, then its last 2 digits are always 0 1, because 3 raised to 40 modulo 100 is nothing but 1 friends. So that means 3 raised to remainder of 3 raised to 40 divided by 100 is 1. So 3 raised to 40 is always 0 1. And what is 3 raised to 100 mean then? 3 raised to 80 is also 0 1 friends. Now for 3 raised to 20 we have to calculate, then 3 raised to 20. So what is 3 raised to 20 modulo 100? Say it is r. When we square it, then we get 3 raised to 40 and r square. And r square and 3 raised to 40 is nothing but friends 1. So r square must be 1 modulo 100 friends. So either r, that is remainder, must be 1 or 99. Thanks friends.